Hello, welcome back to yet another episode of the Tech Room podcast, and today we have a very lovely guest with us. I'm your host Ida, and I'll let our guest introduce herself. Karibu.
Thank you for having me. My name is Cris, Njoki. I'm the founder of Icon, which is a women's wear brand made in Kenya.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Can you tell us a little bit about the brand, your brand?
So Icon Africa, I'd say it's an African brand for the African woman. Like I said, it's made in Kenya. But something very special about Icon as well is that it's focused on women empowerment, right?
Nice.
And so we're very focused on growing women, bringing them in, skilling them, women who maybe did not have the opportunity to learn anything to do with fashion, bring them in, skilling them, and then seeing them even build their own businesses after they've gone through Icon. So that's what we do.
That's actually very nice. Since you talked about women empowerment, do you feel like there's enough information out there about women empowerment, or do you feel like there's still some information gap surrounding that?
Yeah, I think definitely just being in Africa, being in a third world country, there's still so many gaps.
Yeah.
And the thing is, yes, there's already gaps you can imagine in Nairobi, and we are like more of like the city girls, and we're women in the city, and there's still gaps. Now imagine people who are not even in the city.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done to, number one, educate them, show them that there's ways and it's possible, and it's just, I think all of us just coming together and making it like an actual priority. So there's
nice.
huge gaps.
Do you feel like there's something that can be done to ensure that at least we reduce? What do you feel like can be done to ensure that this gap is at least reduced to something that we can work with?
I think definitely it's making that conscious decision in investing in women, and not just, and it's going to be an uphill battle because being in Africa again, our culture has really put women in a box where it's like, we have to be like this, we have to be this way, we have to be married at this age, we have to, so that's breaking that, thing in just the African mind is going to be already an uphill battle. But then for anybody who's in a position of empowering said people or youth or whoever, I think it's just making that conscious decision to do a little bit extra for women. Because not only are we having to break that stereotype, but now you're already having to like encourage these same women who have been fed years and years for like their entire lives that they're supposed to be this and not this. Right, so it's just making that conscious decision as anyone who maybe runs a business, even someone like me with a brand. It's just saying, okay, you know what? Yes, I'm going to give opportunity to all youth and to everybody, but let's just do a little bit extra for women.
A little bit extra.
Yeah,
I like that you say that.
Yeah.
Now, in line with the topic this afternoon about surrounding the digital world, are there some trends that are currently in the digital space that you feel like will shape the future of the digital space and also the influencing scene?
I mean, I think for me, number one, the number one for the past, I guess, like 2 years has been AI. I think we just need to embrace it. Like at this point, guys, come on, you're gonna get left behind. You're gonna get left behind. Personally, I use AI for everything. The other day, Miriam can tell you, we were trying to figure out how to like draft a rate card for something. And I literally went onto AI and I was like, so my name is this and this is what I do, give me a rate card. And that thing was like instant,
Instantly,
whereas in other times I'd have had to probably go through like some form of manager who sort of like knows the space. So what I would say is right now there's so many AI enabled software or just like apps, something so simple that are making our lives much easier. And I can say even as a business owner, running an e-commerce platform, it's just beautiful to see how AI is being integrated into e-commerce and to business and making work that generally would have taken like 10 people is being done by like one person, So I think it's such a beautiful thing to see, and it's now is the best time to leverage off of it so that you're not trying to catch up 2-3 years down the line. So definitely if you're in the digital space, the biggest trend at the moment I'd say is AI. Try and see how it can make your work easier. Work that would technically take you 2 days can take you 15 minutes.
Leverage on the AI tools, guys. As a business person, do you feel like there are some regulations currently that are hindering creativity and the creative space. Do you feel like there are some regulations that are coming up that are making the creatives not be as creatives, for lack of a better...
Yeah. And when you say regulations, by whom?
Everywhere and anywhere. The government, also with the industry growing, the creative industry growing. Of course, there's some regulations that are coming up every day to make sure that everyone is in line and everything is being done in the correct way. Do you feel like some of these regulations are hindering how creative people can get? They're making people feel like they're in a box. Like we can't really think past this because we are regulated by this.
Yes, I see. So what I think I'd like to say to that is, there's many industries, just generally, even in our country, there's many industries, and the creative one is one of them. Now, what's been happening maybe in the recent past is you're finding a lot more imposing of taxes and, things that generally as a citizen and as a country, those things are normal and you impose them to everybody. But when it comes to the creative economy, I feel like it's the one that's least thought about. It's the one that is not given so much support, and so it becomes a bit unfair to give the creative sector less support, but then expect them to sort of like meet all of these different implications that are being given to everybody else. So I think definitely the lack of support is a big one, and it's just until recently people didn't think that any career in digital or in the creative sector was that serious. Even me starting out my brand 9 years ago, for like 4 or 5 years, people are like, oh, when ifundi, guys just don't get it. And it's not until recently that people are actually seeing that, okay, being in the digital space is actually something you can take seriously and it can be your career. And so I think just a little bit more support for the creative industry would go a long way, just in making sure people have the systems and education as well. Right now I think the youth are seeing, okay, there's an avenue to get into the creative space, into the digital space, but there's no structure, right? So everybody is sort of just like doing it on their own,
just winging it.
And you find even the successful ones, you're like, so what was the secret to your success? And they're like, I don't know, I just showed up. And so having a lot more even training on that, you're also finding a lot of people are gatekeeping. The ones who make it are really gatekeeping, and so there's really no one skilling young people on this digital creative space. So I think the more we get into that, the more they're empowered, and the more you don't feel like you're being held back.
Now, lastly, to my last question, this industry that you're in is a bit competitive and a lot of dynamics surrounding it.
Which industry is this?
What you do.
Okay. I got her.
There's a lot of competition. It's very competitive. And also the dynamics over there it's crazy, I'd say. And how do you ensure that you're on top of your game, like innovating and everything, just coming up with new things for your brand and ensuring that you're on top of it?
So the one thing I'd say is, number one, just shut out the noise. There's a lot of noise and it can be distracting. I'd say, if you know you're committed to something and you are passionate and you have the skill, just shut out the noise and work on your craft. So many things are going to happen out there, but they're there to distract you. And there's always gonna be someone trying something, especially if you're doing something good. There's always gonna be someone either trying to emulate that or trying to bring you down. You know how it is. So it's just shutting out the noise and having literally tunnel vision. If you have your goal, nothing else matters. Everything you do needs to be towards that goal, right? So that's the one thing I'd say for sure.
That's actually really nice.
Very
insightful. I've been educated in this short period. So thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to having a lengthy conversation outside the 5 minutes that we've had today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me too.